There is a breed of daredevil like no other. They eat fear for breakfast and have lunch with danger. They mix art and science with metal and flesh. Free flight with broken bones. They are the few, the proud, and the insane. They are the human cannonballs.
Woo! 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 All right!
I don't remember that whole day. I don't remember like a week after that. It was weird because I really overshot by a lot, you know, and there's no way really to figure it out. I don't know how I missed.
Erme Zamperla is a human cannonball. Until February 2002, he made a living in one of the strangest ways possible. It's the only job where you get fired every day.
As soon as the countdown starts, in the barrel you take one deep breath and you tighten every muscle in your body. Next thing you know, I mean, within a second from there, you're already like 30, 40 feet out there. I mean, you feel like Superman when you're flying.
Zamperla is not the only one with superhero tendencies. Humans have been firing themselves out of cannons for 130 years. It's an act that is part science, part art, and part insanity. At first glance, it may seem simple enough. A cannon, a fearless round of human ammunition, and a big bang. But there's much more to it than meets the eye. A human cannonball must be part daredevil and part mathematician, as they measure a dozen different factors and calculate an accurate and safe flight path. There's a lot of things involved in a cannon shot, and a lot of things that can go wrong. It's been estimated that of the 52 people ever to have attempted a cannon shot, 30 have died. That's a 60% fatality rate. And 100% get injured at some point.
You know, I flew about 140 feet and dropped about 40 to 50 feet from the sky at 50 miles an hour. And I mean, I look at that video and I just don't understand how I'm not dead or how I'm not crippled. I don't understand it.
Zamperla was rushed to Tampa General Hospital in critical condition. Despite severe injuries, he discharged himself after a couple of weeks, but he must still visit his pain manager every month to receive ongoing treatment.
Whenever you see the forces that are applied to the human body upon ejection out of a cannon, those are not the typical forces we were built to deal with. I have seen what they can do to the human body, and it's not pretty.
Still some tenderness in here? Yes, very much.
He had these herniated discs in his neck. He had spinal cord damage. The blood vessels in his brain had sustained enough trauma from the initial injury that they had ruptured and bled into his brain. He had lived through all of this. There are weaknesses throughout his spine because of the initial injury. When you look at the impact, it's very difficult to explain this in medical terms. It's been a miracle that Mr. Zamperla is walking, breathing, talking to us, as well as being able to function at the level that he functions at on a day-to-day basis. I would say lottery winners don't have half the luck that he has.
Zamperla seemed determined to keep pushing his luck. To the amazement of friends and family, he declared his cannonballing days were far from over.
Mr. Zamperla came to me about, 8 months after the injury and asked me if it would be okay with me if he got shot out of a cannon again. and I felt that that was utterly ridiculous.
So I did my shot, and it was a good shot. It was 140 feet.
It was extremely ill-advised to attempt such a feat.
I still have the feeling for this, deep down inside. I mean, I know it could have taken my life and could have made me paraplegic, but still it's a rush.
And a certain kind of person is driven to seek out the same thrill. 17-year-old Russell Smith is preparing for a very big moment. In a few hours, these stakes and ropes will save his life. The net they support will catch Russell after he fires out of a cannon for the very first time. Russell's dad, Dave, has no problem with the stunt because he's a cannonballer too.
He'll be doing probably 70, maybe 80-foot shot, right around in there, and it'll be his first time.
In fact, most of Russell's family are professional human cannonballs. Brother Dave Jr. and sister Jennifer have been here before. As their little brother learns the ropes, the Smiths are all there to help out. Under Dad's watchful eye, every detail of the stunt is checked and double-checked. This is no family game on the driveway. If the net is set up too soft, Russell could hit the ground. Too tight, and he will rebound off the net and onto the gravel.
Well, it's as careful as we can make it every time. As soon as you start getting careless or that'll do type of an attitude, you're asking for trouble with these things. Close enough is a word I try not to think in those terms, Let's get it right.
Earlier in the day, Dave gave the cannon a test run. Now he's preparing to fire his youngest son out of it.
I didn't say when. Hey, slow down.
Please don't run me over.
Start to stop. Push it forward. Measure me off 70 feet.
When the cannon is in range, it must be carefully aimed. Very carefully.
Where do you want to land, son? Right there. Right there, okay. Dave, over a little bit. The tiniest little bit. Is that too much? Okay. Okay, that's good. All right with you?
The barrel is pointing in the right direction. Now Russell must level and stabilize the chassis to make sure the recoil of the shot doesn't knock it off target.
Russell's learning, you can tell his attention to detail this time. Normally, zip through it, Dad would come by and check it, but I'm laughing because my dad did the same to me. All of a sudden I had to do everything and shoot yourself out,
Well, you gotta be excited.
He says he's not nervous. I don't believe you.
I still think
You're
the
not
second
yet.
shot is worse than the first.
Yeah.
Because then you know what to expect.
I hope he gets serious about it because it can hurt you in a hurry.
An hour later, with his cannon shot looming up, Russell is getting serious. He's practicing the most difficult and crucial part of any cannon shot, the landing.
If you land like this too much and stay like that, then you're going to be bouncing the nose on the knees,
Do I want to land with my feet bent then? I mean, my legs bent?
Well, they'll be bent if they need to be bent. Your body will know that. You won't be able to think about all these things. You think net to your back. The rest of it will be automatic. You won't be able to figure it out. You haven't got time.
Russell is not only following in his father's footsteps, he's wearing his costume as well.
I think this is your jersey. This goes over.
Good. Look like a bona fide human cannonball. Let's go weigh ya.
Human cannonballs are as weight conscious as your average supermodel. But this isn't vanity. Russell's weight will determine how much power is put into the shot and how far he will fire.
Not gonna have anything drastic.
Most serious cannonball accidents occur because of a mistake in power, not aim.
We'll be fine. I don't know about you.
We'll be all right.
I feel great.
I am going to do this professionally. This is what I want to do. Take a little courage, get used to it a little bit, but Yeah, this is what I want to do. You'll feel the net touch, you know, it's just like you feel the net touch and then just sit into it a little bit. Let your feet come up. Okay. But you'll be all right. Lean back. Keep your head back when you hit.
I just know what he's doing inside, and you feel for him because it is such a scary thing your first time.
After all the practice and advice from his cannonballing kin, there's only one thing left to do. It's time to get psyched.
The most important thing he's got to remember is to keep his head, you know. Just don't let, because it's a scary place. Being inside of a 35-foot-long cannon, it's a scary place, and he's got to think.
As the barrel raises him 30 feet off the ground, there is nothing Russell's family can do to help him now. He is alone with the machine. After hours of preparation and days of waiting, Russell Smith is 5 seconds away from meeting his destiny, or his maker.
Oh my freaking God. You alright? Yeah. Beautiful, huh, sis? That thing goes so freaking fast. What in the... What?
Can you say that on TV?
Heck no! There's no pressure on you, but it's just moving so fast, and then all of a sudden you're just hanging in the air, and they come and hit the net.
Russell has survived his initiation and joined his brother and sister in the family obsession.
That was awesome.
You're getting big, man.
1,000 miles away, another cannonballer is preparing for a shot at the big time. The Clyde Beatty Cole Brothers Circus has come to town, and Elvin Bale has to keep an eye on 1,000 details. Elvin is one of the greatest daredevils of the last century. Born into the circus, he taught himself the trapeze at age 11 and soon moved on to master the most dangerous acts in the world, the Wheel of Death, high-wire meteor cycle, helicopter trapeze. Bale did them all, but of all the acts, there is one he has a special passion for.
The cannon act is unlike any other act that I've ever done. I loved all the other acts, but the cannon act was like flying. And it seemed like the kids all wanted to see the cannon because it's a huge thing coming in. And for me, it was just the thrill of being able to fly. I always wanted to fly higher and further and longer.
But Elvin Bale can no longer fly. In 1987, a cannonball accident left him without the use of his legs forever.
The second I came out of the barrel, I knew that I was going too fast and I was going too high. And I thought to myself, this is it. This is what I've always feared. Even though the cannon shot is maybe 4 seconds, it felt like a lifetime. Then all of a sudden I hit with my feet and all I can remember was thud. I just remember this terrible noise of crunching and I don't know how to explain the noise.
The accident broke both of his legs, his ankles, and his spine in 2 places, and it was caused by the smallest of mistakes. Like most cannonballers, Elvin used a sand-filled dummy to test his cannon shots. The bag was supposed to weigh exactly the same as he did. But the night before the fateful shot, the dummy was accidentally left out in the rain.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know that it had soaked up like 10 to 15 pounds of water.
Even a few pounds difference was enough to fire Elvin over his safety net and into a wheelchair. The accident ended his career as a daredevil. But Elvin found the cannon act had gotten under his skin.
I love the cannon. The cannon is not what hurt me. The dummy is what hurt me. So I fired the dummy. But it wasn't the cannon's fault.
A few months after the accident, and unable to turn away from the act that had almost killed him, Elvin began to teach other people how to be human cannonballs.
Okay, what I want you to do is clear your mind of everything. And I want you to think about getting in the barrel.
Elvin's latest pupil is Zarina, a third-generation circus performer from Bulgaria. She was a gymnast and trapeze artist, but now she has a much bigger challenge to master.
The first thing that I do with most people that I've trained is what I call ground school. That's after they've seen some videos of the cannon and after they've decided that they really want to do it. Then I start with this ground school, which is basically pretty simple. You lay the person down and you show them how to hold their body and what position to be in when they take the initial hit. I think that's one of the most important things in the cannon is learning to take that hit and to be in the correct position. 4, 3, 2, 1, fire, click! You can get shot out of the cannon and just kind of look like a salami coming out. No, too soon. Wait for the click. And then what I want you to do is put a little more effort in it. You know, a little more life in it. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire, click! You can tell who's been trained by Elvin Bale because they fly beautiful. Put some oomph in it. Not like this. Okay? It's boom, you're coming out of the barrel fast to do.
If she completes her training, Zarina will join a proud tradition of female cannonballers. The very first human cannonball was Zazelle, a young lady daredevil who thrilled London audiences in 1870. Zazelle was shot from a spring-loaded cannon onto a trapeze and then dropped down onto a net. But the device was crude and dangerous, and after several performers died trying to copy her, the human cannonball act almost disappeared forever. Today, it has returned with a vengeance. Jumpin' John Weiss is a veteran cannonballer with over 5,000 shots under his shiny belt. He performs with the Ringling Brothers' 132nd edition show and is the only performer ever to fly over every major arena in the U.S. twice. But he knows there is no such thing as a risk-free shot.
The launch, if you're not ready, it's like getting punched in the kidneys. It takes your breath away. If you're not ready, as far as locked, your jaw and your body, you can hit your face inside the capsule and break your nose or your chin. Your teeth aren't locked together, you can break your teeth. If your knees aren't locked, your knees can buckle. And then when you come out, by the time you realize what's going on, because you just basically were in a car accident. That's what it feels like. You know, when you're not ready, it's like, whoa, you know, what's going on? By the time you realize what's going on, you have very little time to react.
John's wife, Laura, has no problem with him firing out of a cannon every day because she's the one who pulls the trigger.
I have the toughest part. He just has to, like, slide in there, fly out, like, yada, 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 big deal, right? I have the most stressful part.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you want somebody that you can rely on, trust, and has your best interest at heart.
Absolutely.
And, she certainly does. Unless I argue with her, then.
Yeah.
She happens to press that button a little early.
A little late.
On the road, it's a family affair, but the Weisses leave cannon talk strictly at work.
We leave work behind and we have our family life. But when we're at work, we're 100% committed to the act, you know, and to each other.
Right. We have to be because it's, it is a life-threatening, death-defying act. So we are 100% concentrating on it, at the moment. But no, I don't go through the day thinking, oh, my husband gets shot out of a cannon.
Zarina's training is coming along well. She has already practiced her launch. Now she must learn how to land. This is the most crucial part of her flight, and the most dangerous.
Right now, what's the most important is that you get over. that you don't land on your head or your face. You've got to get over. Are you ready? Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire. Click. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. You don't want to hit the net with your neck or your head because you can snap it just that quick. Just like any other part of your body. If you over-rotate and hit with your legs first, you can break your legs and your ankles that easy. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Good. It's not difficult to get hurt, believe me. Don't anticipate turning. Wait till you're out of the barrel. Do you understand? Wait till you see that you're out of the barrel, then click, and then break right away. Okay? Do you understand? Don't forget, when you come out, bump.
Jumping off the cannon is one thing.
Power, okay?
Now Zarina must face being fired out of it.
Are you ready?
But by what exactly?
Click.
It's not
Break.
easy to peek inside a cannon. Human
Wait
cannonballs
till you're
are
out of the barrel
notoriously
before you do anything,
protective
then
of their
just break.
secrets. But it is possible to work out a few details. For a start, it's not a real cannon. The cannonball is not blasted out by explosives. The bang and cloud of smoke are just a stage effect. Inside the cannon barrel is another cylinder open at one end like a shell cartridge. The person fits tightly inside this capsule, which sits on top of a piston. When the cannon is triggered, compressed air or hydraulics push it forward at hundreds of miles per hour. The capsule stops at the end of the barrel. The days over, Elvin Bale concentrated on building the ultimate cannon, the largest and most high-tech in the world. While it's the actual cannonball known as the bullet that gets the glory, their partners known as triggermen are just as important to the act. Zarina's life will be in Charlie's hands.
Okay, I'm going to turn on the monitors and check all my sound and make sure everything's right, and I'm going to drop my landing gear. Well, it levels the cannon off of the shot. If we're on a hill and the angle's real bad, then I can get in and I can get a little bit to the right, and I level it off, because when it's up in the air, it makes a difference on the angle. So I level it off, and I can get her right center of the net where she's got to be. Get it all set back to the right pressure that she's supposed to be. I'll get on the mic and ask her if she's ready. And if she says she's ready, then I'll go over here and I'll fire the trigger.
Next, Charlie checks the hydraulics to make sure the cannon is elevating properly. These struts are under enormous pressure. The barrel is made of quarter-inch solid steel and weighs over 11,000 pounds. An inclinometer on the side automatically measures its angle as it raises. Bale may claim to have the largest cannon on Earth, but it's a baby compared to some of history's big guns. World War I saw an explosion in weapons technology and some truly enormous artillery. No one ever considered shooting people out of these monsters, except one man. Ildebrando Zacchini ran a small circus in Italy at the beginning of the 20th century, using his 9 children as performers. The Zacchini family circus was happy and successful until the outbreak of war. As the conflict bogged down and millions died, Ildebrando approached the Italian government with a radical idea. His visionary plan was to use modified cannons to fire soldiers over the trenches and behind enemy lines. They would then land using parachutes and attack the enemy from the rear. The Italian government were not impressed with the idea. Ildebrando was fired. His cannons weren't. But after the war, he reinvented the idea as an act for his family circus. With the help of his 5 sons, he built his first cannon, and the Zacchinis debuted the human cannonball in Cairo in 1922. Over the next few years, the Zacchini Cannon Act became the toast of Europe. Their success soon attracted American circus baron John Ringling, who persuaded the entire family to move to America.
1929's most sensational circus performer, Ugo Zacchini, who introduced to America the breathtaking stunt of being shot out of a cannon 180 feet through the air. And here's the act that received such tremendous acclaim from press and public, the operation of which is a family secret.
Soon 2 pairs of Zucchini brothers were touring the country, each trying to outdo the other.
The signal is given and out pops the gentleman at a mere 70 miles per hour. No, you're not seeing double. It seems that the big cannon can accommodate 2 spellbinders.
In 1930, Hugo and Bruno added a new twist to the
again,
act.
It's aim, ready, fire. And it's a double header to make your hair stand up straight. Some nerve, some thrill, some cannon, and oh yes, we almost forgot, some men.
But it wasn't just the Zucchini men who became human cannonballs. In 1944, Bruno's 16-year-old daughter Silvana fired herself into history. Her cannon is preserved in the Ringling Circus Museum in Sarasota, Florida.
It was built for girls. This one was built for me. My dad built it because the first one, the original one I came out was my Uncle Hugo's and my father's, and they were, huge cannons. When you go in, I was too small to fit in that compressed air thing. You shoot out, but the only thing is, when you shoot out, it wouldn't go straight because you weren't tight. You'd come out this way or that way, and it was, dangerous.
Soon she was learning the finer techniques of cannonballing.
Well, actually the cannon is a lot of timing. When you come out, you have to have a timing. I wasn't that good of a flyer, Olympia. I always spread my legs. My mother would say, keep those legs together. So I'd come out. I don't know, it happened.
Uncle Victor
was beautiful.
I mean, he would come out. I mean, it was different. I mean, he would just fly. His legs were always perfect. He had that arch, and he just beautiful.
Victoria, do you have to be crazy to be shot out of a cannon?
Sometimes.
But for some of the Zucchini family, it was all just a little bit too crazy.
I was very scared of the cannon. I was a little girl, and I would run away and close my ears because then I'd turn around and look back, and it looked like a big dragon. I mean, it was all the smoke and the big bang, and this thing would shake. It was just like boom, and it was very scary for me.
The Zucchinis are cannonball royalty, and even though none of the family are performing anymore, their legacy carries on. Now there is a new first family of cannonballing.
I was a school teacher, and I got a chance, just an odd chance, to go and catch on the flying trapeze. And so we put everything out on the front lawn, and we were gone in 8 days. From my home, normal life, to playing, which I've done for 30 years now.
Over that time, Dave perfected his art and pushed himself to go further than anyone else. In 2001, he set a new world record with a 201-foot shot over a Ferris wheel. For his amazed spectators and fans, it can be a life-changing experience.
For a minute there, we're important to them. I've signed Bibles, old ladies' Bibles. I had little kids come up and hug my leg and look me in the eye and tell me, I love you. And of course, a majority of them wonder whether you're all there between the ears, of course, with what you're doing. But they say it in a nice way.
I don't think I would do it. Enjoyed seeing it, but...
Dave Smith Jr. was quick to follow in his father's footsteps.
I don't just want to get from the cannon to the net. I want to do it with a little bit of style. The audience is what I've grown to love, the reaction of the people. And, it feels good when people come up and pat you on the back for doing a good job at the end of your day's work. So I really like the job. I think there's going to be a point when I can't do this anymore. Hopefully that's a long time from now because I'm having a blast.
Little sister Jennifer took a while to master her fear of the cannon.
First shot wasn't nearly as frightening for me as my second. I was too scared to pay attention to what I needed to do. So it really shocked me, and it was quite uncomfortable. And so I talked with my dad for a long, long time, and he said, well, you're just going to have to think through it. You know, so you need to get down in there and conquer your fear. So I climbed down inside. I was inside for a few minutes, and I climbed right back out. Said, I'm not going to do it. And he said, well, you can sit there as long as you want, but it's not going to beat you. So get yourself together and get in there and do it. And it was 15 years ago. Oh, happy that's over.
But when they're not shooting themselves out of cannons, the Smiths are just like any other close family. Well, almost.
Ready, Lexington? Together?
All right, let's hear it.
Together.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off!
All right. That was great.
She actually learned to count backwards from 5 before forwards from 5.
Randy did the same thing. We was just cannon children. And they hear it backwards for so long, it just doesn't sound right.
Like 6 months old. 6 months old, you can sit there and go 5, 4, and they stick their fingers in their ears.
As the next generation of cannonballers listen, the Smiths plan a special voyage.
We got a tour of the base.
So when were you thinking about heading out to Dayton? When do you need to be there?
Well, let's get an early start. We got about 10 hours on the road.
The Smiths may spend most of their lives on the highway, but this is no ordinary trip. At the end of this road, Dave will push himself to the limit and risk his life in the name of science.
I don't like having boundaries. I like to keep stretching it as much as I can and see how far I can take this in my time as a human cannonball. Three, 2, 1.
Back at cannonball training, Zarina has impressed her teacher, Elvin Bale, and passed ground school. Now it's time to crawl into the barrel of a loaded gun.
Click, break. Okay.
You ready? Yeah. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
Wow. Good thing you held on. That was...
Zarina and Elvin are stoked. She nailed the shot perfectly.
You saw the net and then you broke.
I just only don't do click.
It's great. I was amazed that you got over that quick. That was great because you're not used to that. That's great. You haven't done that. That's good. Scary though. Scary.
But as other cannonballers have warned, it's the second shot that can be the problem.
You okay? You okay? What happened?
This time, things did not go so well. Zarina didn't tense up properly inside the capsule, and her body was hammered by the piston's impact. She exited the barrel badly and hit the net bruisingly hard.
Yeah,
it's not a serious
relax
injury,
for a few minutes.
but it has scared her badly.
I think that's one of the most important things in the cannon is learning to take that hit and to be in the correct position. It's like getting hit by a truck, and it really does affect your brain and everything. It's very hard to concentrate until you really do get used to taking that hit. Then you can start to control your body, control what you're doing. But in the beginning, it's really tough.
Zarina will be okay to continue her training, but she's just learned the most valuable lesson of all. Human beings are not designed to be shot out of a cannon. She has just experienced sudden acceleration, followed by sudden deceleration, a potent combo that is extremely damaging to the body. You may not feel it, but right now you are being accelerated toward the center of the Earth. We call this constant acceleration gravity, and its force is described as 1g. But when we speed up or slow down quickly, the number of g's we experience increases. And that means trouble. High g's break bones, dislocate joints, and cause trauma to the brain and internal organs. But just how many g's we can survive wasn't known until the 1940s, when a brave doctor risked his neck for science. The U.S. Air Force wanted a test pilot to be strapped to a missile with wheels and blasted across the desert at ridiculous speeds. Colonel John Paul Stapp volunteered.
He was so dedicated, in fact, that it was reported that before that high G test, he literally practiced moving around his house blindfolded because he felt for sure that he would lose his sight due to severe retinal detachment after that test.
4 strong nylon belts lash him to the seat for the never-before-attempted ride. His helmet is firmly fastened so that the fiercely screaming wind will not break his neck.
The rocket sled propelled Stapp down the rails at a whopping 632 miles per hour, faster than a Colt 45 bullet, and a new land speed record. And during the shatteringly fast stop, he set another record. He pulled 45 Gs, the highest anyone had ever endured on purpose. As he had feared, Stapp suffered retinal damage and was blind for several days. But his death-defying stunt provided vital data about the effects of high Gs on the body. Stapp's legacy is carried on at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, training ground for many of the world's top pilots and astronauts. The Human Effectiveness Directorate studies the human body under rapid acceleration. Pilots and astronauts must be able to think and react under high G stress, just like cannonballers. In fact, when NASA were first looking for astronauts in the 1950s, they considered recruiting human cannonballs. Because of their high tolerance to G-forces, it was thought they may have the right stuff. 50 years later, the cannonballers have arrived. Following in the footsteps of John Stapp, Dave Smith Jr. has volunteered for a unique and dangerous experiment. An exact measurement of the G-forces acting on a human cannonball during flight.
What we've got here is an 8-channel data acquisition module, and we're going to use this to collect the accelerations that we're going to be measuring in your earplugs.
The positioning of the data recorders is crucial. If they are in the wrong place, Dave could be caught up in the cannon mechanism and shot out in pieces.
I don't know if I can even get in there like that.
It's a pretty tight fit inside the cannon.
Yep.
Let's try it on this and see what you
That'll
think.
drop down lower if they take that bottom part off.
Well, if my elbows fit, that should fit.
These earpiece accelerometers will measure the G-forces acting upon Dave's head during blastoff, flight, and landing.
Gonna have to make the countdown a little bit louder, guys, okay?
For the acceleration.
But the earplugs are the least of Dave's worries. Even with a layer of bandages, foam, and a compression shirt, the data recorders are still a hazard.
They're sitting right in there on my ribs.
That's what I worry about.
I think if you take some of that, my ribs, this is where I know I'm gonna eat that pretty hard.
The next day, the team arrive at the test site and get ready for their historic experiment. There has been a change of plan. Dave is not happy with the close-fitting vest and has decided on a more low-tech way to attach the instruments to his body. Hopefully, these are the only bandages he will need today. The team run a quick systems check, and Dave is good to go. The human cannonball is wired and ready for takeoff. In the barrel of his cannon, Dave Smith Jr. could be living the last 5 seconds of his life. Dave shoots himself an incredible 170 feet. Only a few people in history have ever gone this far, and none of them with an instrument pack strapped to their gut.
That felt huge. I think we'll get some good numbers off that one, maybe.
Dave nailed his shot, but did the instruments work?
I think we're a little lower than we tell the violin.
While the scientists crunch the numbers, emotions run high among the Smith family.
It was scary for me. You know, I was really worried about that much equipment hanging on him, and we had to guess with the weight, you know, what it would do with this distance. And he was real comfortable. And I saw it in his face all the time. There was no pain or anything. So nice to have it over with.
Well, we have good data.
I wonder what the video looked like.
We have good data. That's a good sign. Just a second. That's it.
Dave's risks were worth it. The test is a success. As Dave leaves the cannon, the accelerometers in his ears clock him at 9 Gs. He accelerates from 0 to 50 miles per hour in just a fifth of a second. As he reaches the peak of his shot, he is 75 feet above the ground. His acceleration has dropped to 0 Gs as he soars towards the net. This is what cannonballers mean by pure rush, graceful, weightless flight across the sky. A second before he hits the net, Dave must get serious. His instruments show a small pulse as he rotates into his landing position and gets ready for impact. As he hits the net, the data recorders show a huge pulse of deceleration as Dave collides with it at 50 miles per hour. At this point, he is pulling an incredible 12 Gs. The force of this impact surprises both scientists and cannonballers.
I didn't realize there was that much force involved, that many Gs involved coming into that net. The kids have broken ankles before, catching their toes. We need to think a little bit more about proper landing so we don't get our limbs underneath there, because that's just too much pressure of the bones, you know.
Dave normally weighs 160 pounds, but during this impact, his mass is 12 times that. He hits the net with 2,000 pounds of force. If he'd landed on an arm or leg, it would be shattered. If he landed on his neck, he would be dead. The test results confirmed what cannonballers have always suspected. The most dangerous and forceful part of a shot is not being fired from the cannon. It's landing in the so-called safety net.
So if you'll go ahead and put that on.
And watching himself in slow motion for the first time lets Dave improve his flying technique.
I have a tendency to kind of fly crooked a little bit every shot, and then I recover it as I reach the peak of my shot. But I could tell where it was coming from just in one quick look at a slow motion video. What I thought was straight wasn't quite straight. My left hand's down a little bit higher than my right, and I do that each time. Maybe if I can extend it and get myself this way a little better, you know, that
means I'm a little straighter, a little bit better cannonball, and straighter means you can take more pressure, and that means maybe we can make farther shots.
The groundbreaking experiment has given the green light to the Smiths to go further than ever before and keep breaking records.
I've done 201 feet over a Ferris wheel, and before my hands and my eyes go with old age, I want to make a 300-footers for my kids. They'll have to figure out how to land it, you know, because I don't think the nets are going to work at that distance, but I'm sure they could do it.
They're either very brave, a little crazy, or somewhere in between. But there's no denying human cannonballs are a legendary breed. Zarina is about to become part of the legend. After a month of training, her big day has arrived.
Honey, can you come down on that side? You happy with that?
With the help of teacher Elvin Bale and triggerman Charlie, she sets up for her first professional shot as a human cannonball.
Okay.
Finally, the cannon is good to go. It's now up to Zarina to prepare herself mentally.
Out of the barrel, then click, and then break right away. 1, fire!
This is the ultimate rush. You know, you can try to explain it all you want, but when you're doing it and it's inside your head and it's your own little feeling of satisfaction and rush, you know, it's hard to really explain. It's a really good feeling when everything goes perfect.
It is kind of an addiction. I think it's an addiction to success. It's an addiction to, my addiction is the response of the people. I love to do things that make people happy. And this is something I can do. I can't do very much to make people happy, but I can do this. And I love that.
If I could get in that cannon, I'd get in it right now and get shot out of it. I love it. I would love to be performing. I miss it terribly.
You know, a lot of times before they see the shot, people come up and they, oh man, that'd be really great. I'd like to do that. That's cool. After the shot, they're like, oh my goodness, what in the world possesses you to do this? That's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
The people that do the cannon acts, I have so much respect for. And I look up to every person doing the act. And we in this society should be thankful for the people that dedicate their life to this act and keep it alive and exciting. And I'm just glad to be a part of that.
Cannon act, people would come and see it from all over and wait for it. I mean, you know, a human being shot out of a cannon, you know.
As the show begins, the crowd is thrilled and entertained by a full range of daredevil acts. But there is one act they have all been waiting to see. For Zarina, all her training, fear, and hard work She takes a bow, knowing she has joined the ranks of history's most unique entertainers, the human cannonballs.